Court has directed the state government in West Bengal to allow immersion till 12 midnight all days as per almanac. Are separate for both communities. Yes, the Calcutta High Court has pulled up the Mamata Banerjee government for the second time in a row. The court has stated that the state government is exercising powers without any basis and that the state must think of the welfare of both communities.
Thank you for speaking with us. First of all, in a huge setback to the West Bengal government, the Calcutta High Court has put aside Mamata Banerjee's order and permitted the Durga idol immersion till 12 AM on all the days of Navratri. How do you view this?
This is a huge victory for truth. This is a victory of real secularism. This is a defeat of selective secularism and defeat of appeasement politics. We had seen as to how consistently Mamata Banerjee has maintained her selective stand as far as politics in West Bengal is concerned. In 2016 also, Mamata Banerjee was extremely selective when she had issued a similar kind of statement. This circular was then thrown out of the window by the Calcutta High Court, and the Calcutta High Court had castigated the Mamata government, saying that this kind of appeasement politics should not be practiced. Yet again, when the Calcutta High Court today has questioned Mamata Banerjee as to why the state is using its power to appease a section while demeaning the other section, naturally this is a huge blow to Mamata Banerjee's kind of politics. Today she has to come out and answer that why these two rules. You would not allow Amit Shah ji to enter Bengal, you would not allow Mohan Bhagwat ji to speak in Bengal, but you have tolerance for Barkati, you have tolerance for Maulana Warshi, who in case of Rohingya and Muslim was saying that 72 जो हैं वो लाखों का जनाजा उठा देंगे. This kind of politics is defeated.
Yesterday also the High Court in its observation castigated the government, saying that how can you assume that there will be a law and order problem if the two communities celebrate their festival. Don't you think that this gives credence to your accusation that the Mamata Banerjee government is actually indulging into divisive politics?
Exactly, and this is what the High Court had also asked. The High Court said that while the Hindus and the Muslims want to stay together, they want to celebrate together, they want to live together, why is it that the state government in the name of law and order wants to be divisive? Why is it that the state government wants the Muslims and Hindus not to celebrate together? And that is the reason as to why we would say that this is selective secularism. Law and order is a state subject. It is the duty of the state government, Mamata Banerjee's government, to see to it that both Muharram as well as the Durga Puja go hand in hand. And this is what is real secularism. To stop one section from celebrating while allowing other section to celebrate only means you are appeasing and you are working in the policy of vote bank politics. And this today has been defeated thanks to justice which has prevailed finally.
One last question. Don't you think that the High Court has acknowledged all the excuses that were put forward by the Mamata Banerjee government, that there will be a law and order situation if both the communities come together? Don't you think that all has...
India stands as a spectacular example of peaceful coexistence, and I hope that even if the court looks into it, they will take the government's opinion, and I strongly believe that both the communities are in a position to carry this out peacefully, and I hope that the court will facilitate that process.
All right, well, we have with us now Minister of State in the Narendra Modi government, Babul Supriyo, who is also a senior leader from West Bengal, joining us on the program. Babul Supriyo, your first reaction to this verdict that has come out from the Calcutta High Court on the Durga Puja immersion issue? All right, I think we've lost that line with Babul Supriyo. We will just try and reconnect with him. But on that note, we are getting some more reactions coming in on this verdict.
It's not a matter of happiness. This is a matter of peace and harmony. Because this is a Hindu majority state. We cannot get an attack to a Hindu majority and giving priority to the Muslim minority. That is my case. We argued before the court that give us permission so that we can immerse our Durga on the date of Muharram also. The court admitted this portion of our prayer. The court also said to the state administration to comply this order and to give appropriate direction upon the district administration. The court also directed the state government to file affidavit after the Puja vacation. The interesting point that state government prayed for an interim stay of this order, which was refused. Hence, this is a moral win for all the Hindus living in India, West Bengal.
Same thing we observed last year also.
This was the issue was separate, but the modalities were almost same. The court gave a separate order by Honorable Justice Dipankar Datta, but that issue is, and this issue is not same at all. Because at that point of time there was no notification. This point of time notification was there. Shorojit Zaishu.
All right, let's go back to Babu Supriyo. If we can, all right, I'm being told there is some trouble there, technical trouble there. We will just reconnect with him once again. But yes, this is, of course, the big story we are tracking for you. The High Court has directed the state government of West Bengal to allow immersions till 12 midnight all day as per the almanac. The Calcutta High Court pulling up the Mamata Banerjee government for the second time in a row. The court stating that the state government is exercising power without any basis and that the state must think of welfare of both communities. Remember, of course, in a controversial decision, the Mamata Banerjee government had restricted timings of Durga Puja idol immersions because of Muharram also taking place at the same time. This was seen as appeasement politics by some. Today, the BJP has called this a victory of collective secularism. They have said it was selective secularism that was attempted to be practiced by the West Bengal government. It was appeasement politics, and they say this is a defeat of that. So certainly, of course, a setback for the West Bengal government coming in from the Calcutta High Court. The Calcutta High Court revoking the Mamata Banerjee government order.
There should not be any restriction, and immersion is permitted every day up to 12. The duty of the police to ensure that the peace and tranquility of the area, and there should be the different route, and there should not be any overlap of the routes between the two communities.
The court has said that immersion will take place up to 12 midnight for on every dates, and there is no ban on that. The court has also directed the respective SPs and DGs to identify the routes and to separate the routes from where the Tajia will go and from where this immersion procession will go, dedicated route, and so that they should not overlap.
So this, of course, is the big story we are tracking for you. Those were some legal reactions coming in from the High Court after the Calcutta High Court announced that verdict. Clearly, of course, a setback for the West Bengal government. All right, I'm being told Minister Babu Supriyo is back on the broadcast with us. If you can hear me, Mr. Supriyo, this time, thanks for speaking with NewsX. Your first reaction to this order that has come in from the Calcutta High Court, clearly being read as a setback for the West Bengal government.
Well, you see, you do not know the mindsets of Didi, Mamata Didi. I don't know. This is not a setback for her. She's going to play the victim card. As you see, if you see the statements that she has given while she was inaugurating different Durga Pujas yesterday, she had said that this immersion controversy is part of a larger political controversy, political conspiracy rather. I don't know where she's seeing the conspiracy here. This writing was very much on the wall. Last year, the High Court had the similar kind. The Honorable High Court had similar observations and a similar kind of a verdict. I don't know why Didi would think that some things are going to drastically change in 1 year, where the High Court is suddenly going to think differently and not catch on to this appeasement or divide and rule politics that she's trying to do. The point is that why I am saying that it is not probably a setback to her is because she will now play the victim card, which she's been playing since yesterday, telling the minorities, look, I am fighting your battle, I am all alone, the courts, but for the courts, I would have got my way. So that's exactly what it is. And, I've been saying from day one that law and order being a state subject, if the state thinks that they cannot create dedicated routes through which the Muharram Tajia can go, and from where the Durga immersion can happen, because there are several routes that leads to the river Ganga and the ghats from where the immersion takes place. If they think that they cannot let this two happen and cannot create the dedicated, coordinated routes, they can always ask for central forces to get these things organized. But my point is that what makes us think that, the Hindus and Muslims, while celebrating or going through their important positions, they are going to clash with each other. The official government the notification said that this is being done to avoid clashes. At one hand, she is saying that West Bengal is one state where there is perfect harmony everywhere. There is no tension, communal tension. BJP is creating it. On the other hand, she is coming up with a government notice which uses the word clashes between communities. So I don't know what kind of politics she is playing. I do not know why she is up to destroying the resume, the resume that she has created for herself as a senior, experienced, successful politician.
So you are clearly saying, of course, that Didi is likely to play the victim card, that Mamata Banerjee is likely to, of course, play the victim card, which is pretty evident from the statements she has been releasing from yesterday, where, of course, you're saying, Mr. Supriyo, that she will go to the communities, the minority communities, and say that she was the only one fighting for them, but for the court. Now, interestingly, Mr. Supriyo, what the court has also come out and said is that the state must think of welfare of both communities. So that is something clearly that Mamata Banerjee is not doing. She is not taking an interest of what both communities feel. She is clearly trying to just pander to what the minority community feels, ignoring the sentiments of the Hindu community. I mean, Durga Puja is a time of festive fervor in West Bengal. Has she forgotten the culture of the state? Has she forgotten the interests of the larger community, or rather all communities, just in interest of these appeasement politics?
See, I mean, why? I mean, there is no need for me to actually, come to an answer to your question, because your question in itself explains everything. When there is smoke, there is fire, and she is playing with fire in Bengal, and that's why I would really want to thank the national media. See, the media in Bengal is biased. They have been suppressed, or I don't know what language to use. I don't want to use that word, but the national media has really woken up to this kind of dirty politics, which defies logic, and welfare is something that is absolutely at the back of Didi's mind. If you see the amount of money she spends just during the Durga Puja, the amount of money her ministers spend to do the Durga Pujas, the 4 very big Durga Pujas, let me tell you, it's important to bring in here, 4 very important Durga Pujas that happen in Bengal have multi-crore budget, and all of them are done by Mamata Banerjee's men. One is by Partho Mukherjee, our education minister. One is by Arup Vishwas. So all of them, they have a multi-crore budget. I'm very sure if a little bit of that money could have gone to the panchayats and other places where they say that we don't have money to give you pipelines and water and this and that, I think Bengal would have been a different place. There would have been some logic. There would have been some reprieve to the people, and not this divide and rule at one hand, and on the other hand coming up with futile claims that there is complete harmony in Bengal, and if there is disharmony, it is being brought in by the BJP. So it is not me talking as a BJP leader, and let's not bring politics into it. This is normal logic. This is what the Bengali or Indians would feel, that this is why politicians are hated. This is why politics is a bad term, because of this kind of dirty politics which on the eye and actually insults their sensibilities.
Well, you're saying, of course, politics should not be brought into this whole issue of a festival and a religious celebration, but the West Bengal CM throughout this entire episode has been saying that this is an issue that is being created by the BJP and the RSS to communalize the atmosphere in the state of West Bengal. How do you respond to that charge, Mr. Supriyo?
This is clearly not. I mean, I don't even want to respond to it, because as I said, let's not bring this religious this color into it, which is exactly what Mamata Didi is trying to do. The more we talk about it, the more she gets to play her appeasement card, her victim card, that I tried my best but it couldn't happen. If she feels that there is complete harmony and the job of the state government, which the law and order being a state subject, she should be able to create those dedicated routes to ensure that both the communities can.
Absolutely. As you're saying, of course, that she is nothing but going to play the victim card now. And of course, at the end of the day, politics should not be brought into a festival like this. Politics should not be brought into matters of religion like this. Because remember, the fact is the court has had some very stern comments which have come in for Didi. It's pulled up the Mamata Banerjee government once again and stated that the state government is exercising power without any basis. On that note, we are getting some more reactions coming in on this story.
Another setback for the state government. Today, High Court has given order on the immersion of Durga idol. They said that during the Muharram, and police has to designate the route accordingly.
Because we have observed since 2011, when Mamata Banerjee came to power and became the chief minister, she has been indulging in divisive politics, vote bank politics, appeasement of a certain community. Now this culture is not the culture of Bengal. In Bengal, all communities, they live happily together. They are united in Bengal. So Mamata Banerjee, in order to capture the 27 or 28% vote bank, her government goes out of their way to appease the minority Muslim community. Now, the Muslim community in Bengal, I don't think they want appeasement, because they feel they are happy living unitedly with Hindus, Muslims, Sikhs, Christians and the like. So Mamata Banerjee is deliberately trying to divide the community for her political gains. I think the Calcutta High Court order comes at an appropriate time during the pujas, when Durga Puja, as you know, is one of the biggest festivals of India and Bengal. And I think in the Durga Puja festival, all communities, irrespective of religion, caste, creed, they participate. So the Chief Minister trying to divide the community is very...
Jayasilan is joining us live with further details on this story. Jayasilan, this clearly is being read as a big setback for the West Bengal government. This order that is coming now over this issue from the Calcutta High Court stating that immersions can go ahead and they can go ahead till midnight.
Well, that's right. In fact, an indication of what was in store for Mamata Banerjee was given yesterday by the High Court when it came down heavily on her for, unnecessarily trying to pit one community against the other. So this judgment, which has come as a shot in the arm for the BJP as also other parties, people who are opposed to Mamata Banerjee, this also would serve as a kind of an eye-opener for all politicians who resort to, a kind of vote bank politics, who resort to this politics of appeasement.
Absolutely, and of course the BJP is reading this as a big victory of collective secularism is what they're calling it. They're saying this is the defeat of appeasement politics and Mamata Banerjee should not be allowed to play the victim card now. That's what Babul Supriyo was telling me just a short while back.
Well, Uday, she might of course attempt to play the victim card, but then it's a verdict from the court, and so naturally, it may not have much of an effect. The point is, last year also she tried to bring in the same kind of rule, but then that was shot down by the High Court, and this year, it defies logic as to why she really wanted to, bring about the same kind of rule, putting forward the same kind of arguments, knowing fully well that the High Court will not allow it. And still she went ahead and now she, the High Court came down heavily on her, and now, her knuckles has been wrapped.
Well, Jayasilan, do stay with us. We are getting now more reactions coming in on this story.
All the arguments she has given in public meetings, the court has rejected. So she should find out whether her advisor is giving bad advice, or she's, she shouldn't speak out of the top of her head.
So last year also the same incident happened, and this year also the court has given the decision.
Yes, well, yes, it's been an educational experience for Mamata Banerjee. She's a bright lady, and therefore she should learn fast. Otherwise, the president's rule might come, and then she will be in bigger problem.
Mamata Banerjee is hardly interested in what the High Court says. She has never respected the judicial system, because if she would have done that, she would have not issued this circular, because she knew as to what the High Court said in the last year as well. For her, it is vote bank politics, which is far more important than the judiciary system, than the bureaucratic system, the executive system and the constitution of this country.
India stands as a spectacular example of peaceful coexistence. And I hope that even if the court looks into it, they will take the government's opinion. And I strongly believe that both the communities are in a position to carry this out peacefully. And I hope that the court will facilitate that process.
There should not be any restriction, and immersion is permitted every day up to 12. The duty of the police to ensure that the peace and tranquility of the area, and there should be the different route, and there should not be any overlap of the routes between the two communities.
The court has said that immersion will take place up to 12 midnight for on every dates, and there is no ban on that. The court has also directed the respective SPs and DGs to identify the routes and to separate the routes from where the Tajia will go and from where this immersion procession will go, dedicated route, and so that they should not overlap.
All right, we are opening our phone lines also at this point. Viewers watching the program, if you want to call in with your opinion, please do. Producers will be putting out our numbers on your screens there, so you can call in with your thoughts. We're taking your calls live on the program this afternoon. Jesidan, coming back to you very quickly. Jesidan, the fact also is, apart, of course, from an unfavorable order for the West Bengal government, the court had some very stern comments. They said one community's interests are being pandered to. Decisions by state government should be taken keeping in mind the interests of all communities. Also, it said that the state government seems to be using power without any basis or any reasoning.
Well, that's right. No, it's indeed a scathing indictment of Mamata Banerjee government, and this is what she has been doing right from day one, ever since she came to power, knowing fully well, the votes of the Hindus get divided and that she can consolidate her hold over the Muslim community. She has been doing that. But what defies logic is that last year, she passed the same kind of an order, and that was shot down by the High Court. And this year too, knowing fully well the High Court is not going to allow it, she went ahead and passed the order. And they implicated themselves in the case and argued that, law and order being a state subject, we apprehend some kind of a law and order issue and all that. But everything, each and every point that was put forward by the state government, by the Advocate General, was simply shot down by the High Court. And now, of course, it's a kind of a huge setback to Mamata Banerjee. But we'll have to wait and watch, if she had really learned her lessons from this, because 2 consecutive years, she, on the same issue, she has received a kind of a rap on her knuckles. So we'll have to see if she has learned anything out of it.
Absolutely, and of course, the onus will clearly be on the state government, since law and order is a state subject, Jaisil, and the onus will clearly be on the state government now to ensure that there is no sort of disharmony when these processions are going ahead concurrently, and that law and order prevails.
That's right, law and order being a state subject, it of course the onus is on the state government, but they also have the intelligence apparatus, which of course would give them some indication, if trouble were to brew in any part of the city or the state, in connection with this festival, in connection with the celebrations. Naturally, the Chief Minister would get to know of it. In addition to which, she can also seek the support of the Home Ministry. She can ask for the deployment of the paramilitary forces. That of course will help her tide over whatever law and order problem might arise.
Stay with us, Jaisil. We are being joined now by our first viewer who is calling in from Bangalore. Shankar is joining us. Shankar, go ahead.
Hello.
Yes, Shankar, please do go ahead.
Yeah, I'm Shankar from Bangalore. I think Mamata Banerjee will never change. It's like leopards cannot change their color, they say, no. She is always, every year, even now, the High Court has egg on her face. But the shameless lady, again, next year also, she will do the same thing. Because she is known for only appeasement, and she only wants one section of the society. But I can't understand how the other section of society are voting for her in Bengal. Now it's a very good time for BJP and its people to join hands with the Shia people who conduct Muharram, so that both can do it simultaneously. Then she'll have slippers on her face. Because both of them will be unitedly having the same, their own festivals simultaneously on the streets of Bengal. Shias are always supportive of Modi government.
All right, Shankar, thanks for joining us with your opinion there, calling in from Bangalore. Our next viewer is calling in from Gwalior. Anil Dikshit is calling in. Anil, go ahead.
Yeah. The problem with our system is that in India, we got these words secular and socialist in Constitution.
All right, that's a valid point. That's a valid point you're making, Anil. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to stop you there. Thanks for joining us with your opinion from Gwalior.